Hang out with people, you get your meals together, etc., etc. And maybe that's why I always viewed it as sort of a hassle, because I'm, such an introvert, largely due to my autism. I don't like crowds very much, loud noises, like that. Going out to eat usually is very loud noises. You have to make small talk. It's a very awkward situation for me. And maybe that's why I always viewed eating as kind of a negative thing. Or, here I am having to sit down and eat something when I could have been doing homework or doing this or doing this, and it's just in the way. I'm sure a lot of that also is how I grew up. As many of you knew, I grew up in a very abusive house. It's nothing new here. But basically, we did not have a lot of food in the house. So I would go a lot of days without eating. Most of the time, the only meal I got for that day was the free lunch at school. So that was just it. And when we lost free lunch after my mom got a raise, it was a big hit to me because, she didn't spend the money on us, obviously. She spent it on more of going out to drinking and partying and stuff. Because, again, my mom is better now, but she was, a very alcoholic drug addict, and that's just the facts. So, we were still hungry, but now we didn't get food at school. So, it became a situation. Basically, any food we did have, I made sure my brother and my sister ate. My brother and then Skylar. So my sister, my daughter, however else you want to describe it. I made sure they ate first. And if there was anything left over, I ate, but usually there wasn't. And, I didn't have food at school this time. And I think my friends caught on pretty quickly, and I'm really glad they did. Because they'd be casual things. They make up a thing like, you did really good on that math test, I'm going to buy you a burger. Or, oh man, your hair looks great today. Hey, you want to split my fries? They would try to make it like a reward, try to make it seem like it wasn't pity or anything. And I could kind of see through that. But at the same time, I was very grateful because, they were helping me out. People would give me food and stuff. But I think that's largely in part of why I've been kind of iffy about food my whole life. Because it's, a hassle and stuff. It just kind of, it takes time and everything else, and it's just in the way. And I knew my doctor has already, tried to give me the anorexic talk, thinks, yeah, I may be anorexic, am I trying to lose weight, do I think this is an issue, blah, blah, and I'm like, no, it's not that, I just, don't get hungry very often. I'm a tiny person, I guess I just don't who need much energy to run, My anxiety fuels me. Which is probably true, because I've never had as much energy as I do now on Adderall. And, Adderall gets rid of my anxiety, so, that's, that's probably what's happening, getting energy from that. I've just never had that much energy before, but it's great. But she gave me the talk, and I'm kind of worried. Which was funny because at the same time she gave me the talk that I was overweight and watch your cholesterol, blah blah. So I'm like, I'm overweight, but I need to eat more. I just kind of laughed at that, and I mean, it's not like I'm severely overweight or anything like that. I think I'm just like, oh geez, I think she said I was like 2 pounds over the max or whatever. Like, oh no, I was a little over that. It was supposed to, so my height should be within 120 and 131 pounds. And I'm like 134 or something like that. It's not a huge difference or anything, like nothing horrible, but enough that, she just wanted to bring it up, she's like, you're not in an emergency situation now or anything. I just want to make sure you understand, what's going on and stuff. make sure, you know, I'm pulling into a random parking lot, so I can keep talking, but, you know, just make sure you know the risk, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you know, but the anorexic doc, she's like, you know, you've lost 20 pounds in 2 months. That's a really bad thing. And I was like, damn, you know, I didn't realize it was that bad. But, I mean, I'm being healthy with it. I've worked out a lot more than I used to. And, you know, the last time she measured me was when I lived with my grandmother. So it was a little more than 2 months, maybe about 3. And, you know, living with a grandmother, that's just how it is. They give you cookies and treats and huge meals and meals, whereas now my meals are like a little bitty cup of ramen or something, you know. I don't eat very often, and then when I do, it's not very much, you know, so that's just how it is. And I ate a lot of fast food because I also worked a lot more hours, so I had to, you know, take lunch breaks and things like that. And I had to be near the store because I was a manager. You know, it's just basic things that added up that made me a little bigger. You know, I've never really considered myself fat or anything like that, ever. Like, ever. I was really shocked when I was like, I'm overweight? Really? I thought I was, like, severely underweight, you know? Because up until, geez, probably last year, I was severely, severely underweight. Like, if I even went without, like, if I ate, like, maybe even an hour after, you know, my body tells me I'm hungry, I'd pass out. Like, I was very, 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 like, this is the energy you have to keep going. And that's just, you know, how I was. So it's very weird to not be that way now. You know, just strange to me. But, you know, or just the thing about how underweight I was, keep on. So my height should be within 120 and 131 pounds. And that's honestly they're kind of a bad calculation. It's BMI, body mass index, which has been proven a lot of errors with it because it doesn't account for muscle or gender or anything else. So it's a little, like The Rock is considered obese because of, you know, all his weight, which is all muscle, you know. So it's a little, you know, it's not a very good calculation, but it's still a very popular used one. But basically, you know, so that's the weight I should have been between. In high school, I was, let me see, no? Okay, yeah. Basically, last time I weighed myself that I was underweight, you know, I was 80 pounds. That's at least 40 pounds under, you know, the recommended. And that's, you know, the bottom line recommended part. So it's like, I was very, very bad. I think my weight was still considered underweight even for someone smaller than my size. So I was very, very bad about that. And I always had a lot of doctors be like, you know, you're anorexic. And I had a lot of counselors be like, you need to talk about this. And I'm just like, no, that's not the issue, you know. Especially when I was growing up, you know, they always were like, you know, you're anorexic, do you want to throw up, do you want to do, and I'm just like, no, like, obviously, no, and it was just, you know, the fact that I didn't get to eat very often, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I think largely that impacted me, you know, because you have to kind of relearn how to do things. Like, if you ever hear the situations where there's starving children or starving animals, or whatever the case is, you can't just give them a whole bunch of food all at once. They will get insanely sick, they'll throw up, they'll sometimes have a heart attack. It's just too much. You have to start them off slow, like, you know, you basically start off with some rice, and then maybe the next few weeks you'll add a potato, you know, and you just basically slowly add things on. You can't give, like, an actual meal. The first meal will seem like something that's maybe a snack to someone else, but, you know, you have to build it up. And I'm still, I think, working on building that up. I still, oh geez, probably almost every time I eat regular sized meals, I feel insanely sick. I can finish maybe a third of a burger. I'm trying to work on that so much. I just can't finish it, you know? I think today at work I ate 1 chicken strip. And it's kind of ridiculous, you know, but I just can't do much more than that. And I'm trying, to work up and everything else. And that's just how it is. It gets very annoying because I spend money on a lot of food, Because, like the chicken strips, they're in packs of, the smallest pack was a pack of 4. So 3 of those went to waste, I couldn't exactly put them in the fridge or bring them to someone else because we didn't have a fridge. And, I was at work. I couldn't, give them to someone else. So I feel like I'm wasteful, I don't want to go out and buy food. Or other times I feel insanely hungry, so I'm like, I'm going to get a giant burger. And then I guess my mind forgets, you can't eat a burger, And so it's just kind of funny to me in that way. It's just, it's just a fact of who I am, people, anytime I have a date, they're just like, you didn't eat much, did you not like it? People usually get really offended, they're like, you didn't like my cooking, and I'm like, no, I loved your cooking, believe me, I would eat more if I could. The fact that I even ate this much means I absolutely loved your cooking, I'm still probably gonna get sick. And, that's just the way it is for me. Certain things, make me really sick. Slushies, for whatever reason, make me very, very sick. But I absolutely love how they taste, so I have a lot of slushies. So I don't really, make this very well with my body, but it just, something about the dye in them, I think, is what it is. So slushies and, sodas don't go well with me. Certain sodas, I have to say that, certain things, like Coke, I cannot have Coke. I like how it tastes. Every single time I have Coke, even like a small little cup, I will get sick. It's just, I'm always sick from Coke. I think it's, there's more carbonation in it, possibly. I don't know, it's just something about it, it really upsets my stomach. And, Diet Coke I can usually have, or Coke Zero. I still get a little sick from those, but not nearly as bad. So I think it's more of like the sugars or the carbonation or something. Maybe the sweeteners, I don't know. But then Dr. Pepper I have no issues with. So it's a little, my little mid-ground I find is Pepsi. Because, I like the taste of Coke. And Pepsi tastes pretty much identical to me. Except it doesn't make me as sick. So it's like a middle ground. And, people always kind of like, you want the Pepsi? With all those memes and everything else. Where, is Pepsi okay? No, And, people seem to hate Pepsi. I don't know why. I grew up on generic drinks, cola and things like that. So, I never cared what drink it was as long as it tasted good. I mixed a lot of drinks. That's how we grew up. If we were almost out of something, and we both wanted it, me and my brother, we'd split it. Like, we had Sprite and root beer mixed together. Because we're almost out of both of them. We both want some. So, we both get about half a cup of each one, mix it together. It was pretty good, from what I remember. I haven't had it in a few years now, but my brother still loves it to death. He'll purposely even buy new ones and mix them together like that. So, it must be pretty good, It must be pretty good. Sprite. There was a bunch of other ones. I don't even remember what they are, but he'd make a little name for each one of them, and he really liked it. He feels so creative when we were growing up, because he's like, look what I made, taste it, And he was, I always thought he was going to be like a chef or a chemist or something. Like, he loved creating things. And I mean, I guess he is still creating things in his field he's going to. It just, a different way than I thought it was. For those who don't know, he's a computer programmer. So, he actually creates video games and things like that. That's the programs he works with. So he's game design, I guess we'd call it. He doesn't make the stories or anything. He just, he takes he writes the code that makes the characters move. He doesn't, do the artwork. He literally just writes the code, which is probably the most, difficult part there. But that's what he does. That's what he loves doing. That's what he's actually going to school for. Well, that's what I was told he was going to school for. I don't know. I heard he is going to wait a year or two to go to school. I'm not sure, positive about that. But I know currently, he is getting a different degree. So, I mean, I think he's wanting to finish that one degree so he at least has a fallback plan if he can't find a job in the gaming industry, which, is very hard to find a job in. So I think that's what he's doing. And right now he's working for our neighbor's business, which is kind of an everything handyman, He'll fix roofs, he'll cut trees, I think he paves sidewalks, fixes locks. Like, he does basically everything you can think of. He's one of those people, and he's training my brother how to do that. My brother says he does a lot of the plumbing and stuff for things, and he's training him how to do that. And what's really good is my neighbor's actually paying for my brother's schooling. And I mean, trade school is obviously a lot less expensive than, like, a university. But, you know, it's still a lot of money to, you know, give out to my brother freely. Plus, my brother still gets a paycheck. So it's like, you know, my brother just has free money. He spends on food and stuff. He does tend to, I think he does save some, you know, and use it for good things. Currently he's working on fixing a car. I don't remember what type of car it is. I think it's a Firebird. I'm probably wrong about that. It's Firebird or Roadrunner. It's one of the really, really popular ones, you know. My grandparents had it for a very long time, and it was rusted holes in it. It wouldn't start, whatever. And basically he told, you know, I think he gave him like $200. You know, like, they didn't really want anything for it. It was just kind of a lawn deck ornament. It probably wasn't even worth that in scraps, you know, was what their thought was. It just looked cool. And he said, you know, I'll give you this, I'll tow it back, and I'll fix it, you know. He's like, this is the car, you know, I want, and it's going to be a lot more money to buy one fixed, and it, you know, it's a lot less fun. Like, he wants to build things. So, you know, they let him have the car and everything, and, he was so happy. He called me one day, like, crying on the phone. He's like, I got it to start. And it, you know, it didn't last very long. It was just like, started, you know, it lasted for like a minute, and then it turned off, you know, again. But he was like super happy about this. And so I was like, you know, okay, now I'm not really mad that you have two cars, you know, because he has one that works and he has that one. And I'm like, at first I was kind of like, really, you don't need two cars, obviously. But, you know, he's making his dream car, and he's having fun, you know, and everyone has a hobby. And I mean, it's his money, he makes it. Still kind of annoying that he doesn't have to, you know, have to pay rent or anything, but, you know, because he lives at home still. Which, you know, whatever. So, he doesn't have to worry about all that stuff. But, it's okay. He may be saving a little bit to, you know, get rent later on. I don't know. You know, he's his own person. I don't really judge him or anything. You know, it's just what happens. The only thing I do worry about is that my brother is attracted to men, and I do not know if he's bi or gay or pan or what, but I know he likes men, and over the past few years he's been dating lesbians, you know. I sort of like, I'm not sure what it's called, you know. I know when a lesbian dates a gay guy, he's called the beard, you know, as like a fake man in her life, you know. Well, she can go off and be a lesbian. People don't question it, because they're like, oh, you know, she's dating him. I'm not sure what it's called when a guy does it, but I was one of these people. I was, you know, very, very positive he was doing that, and everyone he's dated has basically been a lesbian. So I was a little iffy about that, you know. I was kind of like, oh, you know, I thought they were using him at first. You know, I thought he really liked these people and they were just using him. And then I come home one time early, you know, I came to visit to, like, surprise him, and he was on the couch cuddling with this one guy. They were like super cuddling, and you know, the guy was messing with his hair, like, they looked so happy. And then, you know, he noticed me, he flipped out, you know, he jumped ran across the room, and he's just like, this didn't happen, this is my friend, his name is Noah, we are not dating, everything else. Like, he was very, very defensive about this. So I was like, you know, I don't care, you know, Drew's my brother, and I'm like, I don't care, you know, I'm gay, so I don't really care if you are too, you know. He's like, I'm not gay, you know, he got like really offended, but he's like, I'm not gay, I like girls, only girls, you know. And, you know, this Noah guy was looking, you know, kind of upset, because I'm just like, well, you know, you're hurting your boyfriend's feelings here, you know. Maybe they were just crushes, maybe they weren't dating, I don't know, but they did seem very much together. And since then, he visited a lot, like, Noah was always there, and it was really sweet. But apparently, my mom was out, and so he assumed, he didn't know I was coming, of course, so he assumed it was free time, it'd be just him and Noah. And it was great. They're so adorable together. Oh my gosh, I couldn't ask for a cuter relationship. Oh my gosh, I don't know. It's just, it's weird for me when, like, super buff guys get all feminine. Like, my brother is, I wouldn't say buff, but he's, like, insanely manly and no emotion and everything else. And he was all, like, giggling and cuddling and stuff like that. And that just, oh, I don't know why. That's just very cute to me. It's adorable. But, so I asked, I talked to him later on. I was like, if you're gay, that's okay. And he's like, I'm not gay. And I'm like, well, bi, whatever. Are you bi? And he wouldn't answer me. So he probably is at least bi-curious, And that's just the way it is. But, he did seem to be very, not wanting to say anything. And he even told me, do not tell Mom what you saw. I think my mom seems to be much more accepting of the fact. I think it's that, he doesn't, he remembers how she reacted to us in the past. She's more accepting now, but she wasn't very back then. Like, my sister got kicked out at 14 because she was dating a woman, and they moved in together, and they stayed together for a pretty long time. And my sister's bi now, and she's with a man, and whatever. I knew I was constantly told, you're not really gay, whatever. Because you like men and you're a woman, is how they would always phrase it. Well, so I think he was kind of worried about her acting badly, and I get that. And I guess it's harder for him because he lives there, Maybe he'll come out as he's leaving, so he knows that she has nothing she can use over him, and like lock him out or kick him out, or he'll have something prepared, just in case. And that's good. Maybe that's what he's thinking, but I don't know. I haven't seen Noah lately, and I was kind of worried. I asked where he was, and he was like, I don't, whatever. So maybe they had a fight. I don't know. I don't want to get in his relationship business. I'm more worried about him coming out, But he's had a girlfriend now, and I was very, he may be bi, I don't know. But to me, it very much seemed like, he was dating a girl to please my mom. And that, just the hearing he had a girlfriend made me look really upset. And then I see them, and they're cuddling and, joking around and stuff, and they seem happy. So I was a little, my brother's pretty good at pretending, because he doesn't want anyone to, pity him. He wants to be the manly man, he can handle everything, he doesn't want anyone else's help. So I'm sure he could probably act happy when he's not. I don't know. But they seemed happy, and I'd seen them together multiple times. Though it did seem like she was using him a bit. I say that very lightly. She made, she'd be like, there was homecoming, and she says, you are going to wear a tux to homecoming. Like, a suit is a big deal, but a tux, like, that's prom, that's not, homecoming. Like, what? You're going to wear a tux, and you're going to come and take pictures with me. My family is going to be there, and I want all of your family to be there as well. It seemed a very, First of all, and he just said, I don't have a tux, And she's like, well, my brother has one, my older brother, and it would fit you, so you can wear that. And so, but then my brother's just like, well, I'm not even going to homecoming because, my brother's already graduated, and the school's rules is that he can't even show up. I don't think he can even drop her off. Like, there's pretty, strict rules about that at his school. And she's like, well, it'll just be for the pictures, and then you can, like, go home and take it off or whatever. And it just seemed a little, like, all that work just for, like, pictures. And, my mom's like, I don't, she didn't want to go. Like, she's like, you're not even going to homecoming. Why do you want pictures, And he's like, well, she wants them. And so, I guess every relationship has the give and takes there. And I'm only seeing the bad because I'm looking for the bad, But it seemed a little bit like, she's a bit crazy, But, I'm assuming he had fun. He groomed, he went and got his hair all cut and everything, and, fancy grooming. I think he got his eyebrows tweezed. Like, he was, like, super excited for this, it seemed. Well, he showed no emotion. He was kind of like, flatline, which he always is. But I think it hid the fact that he was really enjoying himself, which is pretty good. What What time does Taco Bell close? Does it close at midnight or 2? Because if it closes at midnight, I need to get food. I think it closes later than that. I don't know. Probably need to end the video soon, but whatever. It's almost an hour now. I loved how it was just going to be like 10 minutes. Whatever. It ended up being the same thing as last night. Last night. Was it last night? I think it was the night before, wasn't it? I don't even remember. Whatever. I feel like a week has passed, you know, and I'm sure it's just been like a day. I feel like, you know, time just... There's so much that happens. But, you know. So I'm sure I'm just looking for the bad things in my brother's relationship. But they seem happy, and I don't want to be heterophobic, you know, or whatever. I don't want to be, like, anti him being with a girl. I just want him to be happy, and it didn't, you know, I didn't think he could be happy with a girl. Maybe he's bi, maybe he's pan, maybe he's poly and he's still with Noah. I don't know. You know, it's his life. I just, you know, I always worry about my little brother. He's my little baby brother. I have to look out for him, even if he acts like he's too good for me, you know? Even if he's, like, twice my height, you know? He's still my baby brother. And I have to look out for my baby brother. It was nice, though. He did seem kind of embarrassed by the fact that, you know, all her friends, I think, were going to be there, and they all had 2 parents, you know, and he only had 1. And he was pretty embarrassed about that. And that's the first time I've ever heard of that outside of, like, a movie, you know? And the movies are always about, like, you know, oh my gosh, my parents split up, I'm embarrassed, I'm scared, you know, I feel like I'm alone, you know, everyone's gonna judge me. That's how the movies are. I've never actually seen that in real life, anyone at least vocalize that's an issue. I've just never, you know, seen that as an issue. I think I knew, let me see, 2 people whose parents are still together, you know, still married, and one of those people, the parents absolutely hate each other. They just are a religion that doesn't believe in divorce. So it's like, you know, I don't hear of people who were still married to their parents, you know? I hear of people who have single moms or a stepdad, you know, or something like that. Like, I don't... People say mom and dad, I'm like, okay, you know, I'm always like, do you mean your stepdad, or, you know, what, you know, what, or do you mean, you know, you may have step-parents, but you're talking about your actual biological parents here. Like, you know, it's always a guessing game there. And I don't know why I just assumed, you know, everyone had divorced parents. It's just what I was used to. So I guess it's a little weird. I mean, it's very weird for me to see him be, like, embarrassed in any way about that. Because it's like, really? But, you know, he went to a different school. So maybe in that area, people stayed together or something. I don't know. It just, you know, again, seemed very strange to me. But though I do know one of the major causes of divorce, you know, that puts strain on the relationship is money issues. I completely get that. And, you know, he went to school in an insanely rich area. So perhaps, you know, they didn't have that strain on the relationship. Or perhaps they stayed together because, you know, maybe one of them didn't have a job. And so they needed the income, you know, and they, like, a lot of times, you know, women who were married, you know, who marry rich or whatever, or raised by rich people or whatever, they never are expected to get a job, or else they're just like a housewife. And they never have to be more than that because they don't need any more income, you know? So it's really hard for them to leave bad situations because they have no experience. A lot of them have no schooling outside of high school, sometimes less than that. They have no job experience. A lot of times they don't even know how to, you know, do basic things. Some of them don't even know how to drive. And it's, you know, if you break up in a relationship, you know, insane. A lot of people stay with an abuser for many reasons. But in rich situations, it's because, you know, one of the big ones is they don't think they can make it on their own. And they might be right, you know, and that's a bad way to think about it. Honestly, they're probably right. And that's why people need to step up and, you know, and come in for this and stuff. You know, it's a very important thing. I was thankful to have good friends, and actually my grandma, begrudgingly, but she did help. She was a little iffy about it, but when my last abusive well, I say last abusive boyfriend. I'm trying to remember if he was the last one or the one before the last. You know, I've had a lot of abusive boyfriends, but what happened with him is that he was really bad. And one night we had a huge fight and everything else. And I left. I was like, I can't be here right now. I need to get out. And I was scared to go back home. It was a really bad situation. So I slept in my car, and then I found out that the next morning, when I came in, to get stuff for work, he had all his stuff packed up. He said, I'm leaving in 10 minutes. Sign me off the lease. And it was very rash, obviously, but it was also very impossible for me because we barely made rent as it was. There's no way I could have made it on my own. And by breaking lease, it's a huge fee that they're still trying to call me and collect on because he canceled his phone. So they can't reach him. So they're only trying to bill me. And it's a huge issue that I'll maybe get into another time. But there was a big, horrible breakup. And my grandma, very upset, who took me in. She was very upset at me because, she thought, you've probably he probably, gave you signs he was going to leave. He probably told you ahead of time and you just didn't take him seriously or something like that. And it's, it's just how it was. She was mad because I just moved out of her house like a few months prior. So, she's like, and you're already back, I think she thought I was kind of a failure in that way. Is there a cop here? I think he's on the road. I think he's just on the road. Whatever the case is, I need to stop filming. People are gonna start wondering why his car is here. Yeah, I think he's coming over. So I'm gonna leave before he comes over. He's circling the lot. Yeah. Okay, so I gotta go. I'm gonna get something to eat. Everything else. TFCom signing off. Bye.